because it looks really, it looks real. Okay, I still see most of you are not turning on the camera, so I'm still waiting. Adit, it's okay. You don't have to move. Jangan-jangan Adit jadi pindah gara-gara nggak mau kelihatan teralisnya. No, that's alright. It's okay. Okay, everyone. Bismillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning to you all. I will never stop wishing you good health and safety, amidst the global pandemic of COVID-19, which is exhausting, I know. So first of all, thank you so much for coming to the class, and my apology for not coming to the class last week and for coming late today. As I promised you that before every activity, before every discussion of the session, I'm going to invite 2 or 3 groups who are not performing yet to present their ideas, their discussion results on the yo-yo effect on tourism, both in local context and in global context. But first, I need to make sure, because I actually forget. Jack Farrell, are you here? Is Farrell here? Is Jack here? Jack is not coming yet. Oh, or maybe you still remember. Do you guys remember how many groups are there in total? The groups of the yo-yo effect, because I forget and I didn't record it. So so far we have 3 groups perform. How many groups are left? Do you still remember? No? Yeah, it's the same then. Well, yeah. Well, then it's okay then. Now I would like to call upon group 4, because last week we have group 1, group 2, and group 3 presenting. And the first group who is going to present their results of discussion regarding the yo-yo effect or revenge tourism is group 4. So who are the members of group 4? Do you still remember, guys? You don't remember? Yeah, me too. Or maybe
sorry, sir.
Yes.
We don't have numbering the group.
Okay, so how did you actually identify the group number at the group?
You call me by a random, sir.
Yeah, all right then. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Okay. So yeah, then I'm going to name that. Okay, so the first group of today's performance is going to be okay, from the first page of my Zoom display. Shelma Ferraniza. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Shelma, who are your teammates?
Okay, my team consists of me, Rizka Romadoni, Felda Awina, and Zahra Renindia.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to prepare for it first, sir.
Yeah, sure. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna be patiently waiting. My pleasure. All right, are you ready? Are you guys ready?
Oh, sir, excuse me. One of our members just left because perhaps connection problems,
Okay.
I think. So is it okay if we wait for a bit?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sorry.
No, that's all right.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. We're going to be discussing about, we're going to present you our result of discussion about yo-yo effect in tourist destination, and the topic is Chiang Mai University, Thailand, and Ranu Manduro, Mojokerto, Jawa Timur. The group members are me, Shalma Faraniza, Felda Awina, Rizka Romadoni, and Zahra Renindia. Okay, so let's just start. Next, please. Okay, so for the global destination, after the release of a comedy film, Lost in Thailand, in 2012 that became a blockbuster hit in China, there had been a surge of Chinese tourist arrivals in Thailand, mainly in Chiang Mai. Tourists usually roamed the city, temples, and Chiang Mai University. The Chinese film directed by Xu Zheng is set in a few cities in Thailand, one of them being Chiang Mai, and managed to capture the beauty of Thailand, which successfully attracted many Chinese tourists to come to Thailand. And in 2013, there were about 4.5 million of Chinese tourists that visited Thailand. According to Airports Council International, Chiang Mai Airport had 28% of increasing number of passengers since May 2012. Between 2011 to 2014, Chinese tourism to Thailand also went up from 1.7 million to 4.6 million, according to UNWTO's report. And here's our analysis of this phenomenon seen from a few aspects. And the first one is economic aspect. So for the economy, although the exact quantity of Lost in Thailand's contribution can't be identified clearly, its influence cannot be denied. The arrival of Chinese tourists had a huge impact on Thailand's economy. According to the president of Chiang Mai Tourism Business Association, about 80 to 19% of the occupancy rate of 40,000 hotel rooms in the city was because of the film. Therefore, to Thailand, the Chinese tourism is considered as a critical growth area. And the next one will be read by Felda. Felda, go ahead. Next. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Shelma. Well, then I will continue the topic with social culture aspect. Next slide. Okay. This is an interesting case to study, seeing how film can have a very big impact on tourism, but also how plenty of different factors contributing to this phenomenon can create another big reaction from a huge amount of people. Therefore, it creates the yo-yo effect in tourism. Chiang Mai province in northern Thailand has never been a hot destination for Chinese tourists, but things have changed due to a film Lost in Thailand. Chinese tourists have become the largest group of tourists visiting Thailand. It even became a common sense to spot Chinese tourists here and there. Many Chinese visitors are faithfully following the film plotline, which includes elephant rides, visit to temple, trying spicy Thailand cuisine, and Chiang Mai night bazaar. As you can see in that photo, a group of Chinese tourists sightsee at a Buddhist temple in Chiang Mai. Many in the tourism industry are delighted by the influx. Unfortunately, there seem to be some problem because by the arrival of the tourists as well. One of them is about tourist behaviors that disturb the local people. For example, the tourists that visited Chiang Mai University, which was one of the top destinations. Some tourists were said to be sneaking around during the university lectures, made a mess in the cafeteria, and built a tent near the lake. And so many Thai people were highly displeased with Chinese behavior. Also numerous comments on Thai social media blame Chinese for spitting, littering, cutting into lines, and breaking traffic rules. So after everything that happened, Thai government has made guidelines to warn Chinese tourists not to spit, shout, and made a mess in Chiang Mai University. That everybody were what we wanted to share with you. Thank you. Next about Mojokerto.
Okay, next. Okay, thank you. The destination in Indonesia, we will. Sorry.
So here the destination we will take is Ranu Manduro Mojokerto. First, sorry I can turn on the camera due to the connection. As we know, Ranu Manduro Mojokerto had become viral because of the Feeling Good video clip on social media some time ago. So this caused the arrival of many visits, while the location is not a tourist area. And this caused various reactions from the local community. So here I will explain the aspect which are the effect. The first is environment, which will be explained by me, and the other is social aspect, which will be explained by Rizka. For the environment, the arrival of people to the location creates over-tourism. While each area has its own capacity, so that over-tourism will change the shape of the land and the characteristics of the island. And the area that was very clean because there were no visitors before become dirty and become a lot of garbage. So next is Rizka.
Okay, for the social aspect, after going viral, Ranu Manduro was increased visit by tourists from various regions. Even on weekends, there are severe traffic jams due to the large number of vehicles that brings visitors there. In fact, Ranu Manduro is an active mining area, not a tourist spot, so that the Ranu Manduro tour has now been closed to the public by the land owner from PT Wira Bumi. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Group 4. I'm naming you Group 4 because you're the fourth group to perform. Well, first of all, my comments is that I really like how you actually capture everything from the social phenomenon which happens. You know, one from a movie and the other one is from like the social media fame. I really like that. And also number 2, I really like how you brought a lot of data, scientific data, on the presentation of the Chiang Mai in the Thailand. I actually have a slight comment on that. So everybody, in English there is actually a verb pattern. A verb pattern is when two words join together, creating different meanings. Like for example, a word put when it is joined with up, with on, with off, they actually come with different meanings. The word take, when it is paired with on, with off, with up, and any other things, is actually, they create a different meanings too. Sometimes we put them wrong because we actually are carried away with our culture, like Indonesian culture. Like for example, when we say in Indonesian language, mendiskusikan tentang, we pretend to translate it into discuss about in English, whereas discuss is never followed by about in English. So just say we're going to discuss the issue. We're going to discuss a yo-yo effect on stuff like that. So in a formal presentation, discuss is never followed with about. And I actually have one question, especially regard to the group, and anybody can answer this, especially regarding the low awareness of environmental issue, which happens in the in so many places in Indonesia, including in Ranu Mandura and Mojokerto. So according to you, let's say the case is in Indonesia, what actually contributes the most? What is actually the most significant factor contributing to this fact, to the environmental damage, let's say? What do you think is the most significant factor? Anybody from the group?
Oh, sorry, sir. From the group, I think I'm going to give a little bit of my opinion.
Sure.
But I want to ask about your question. I want to make sure again. Is it like in general or in tourism?
In tourism. In tourism. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, okay. In tourism, I think it's been a very, environmental aspect is a very important topic, of course, in tourism. And there are so many, it's a very complex reason, first of all, because of the people, but also sometimes because of the transportation itself. There are so many things that contribute to, if we talk about environmental damage in this, like sometimes, of course, it's about the waste. What do you call it? But it's sampah.
Yeah, it's actually
Also,
waste,
and
or litters.
sometimes also based on what based on what I've seen. For example, in Italy, there are like, for example, cruise ship, and it was the people there, the local people, are also complained about it because of the damage it brought to the lake.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very complex, I think, and also, because of there are a lot of people, and since tourism has so many things to do with another sectors around it, so many things around it, from the accommodation and stuff. So definitely it has its own impact to environment, and that's why so many people are starting to bring up about sustainability and how to manage all of them. That's from me. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you so much. Is there any additional opinion from the other members of the group? No? Okay. Yeah, if there's no more opinion from the group, I'm going to call group 5, the second group of the day, who is going to perform their discussion results on the yo-yo effect in tourism, either on a local or a global case. So I'm going to see on my second page of the display, Nimade Arisusanti.
Okay, but sir, I'm going to share the PowerPoint.
Sure.
Is the screen shown, sir?
Yeah, it is showing now.
Okay. So it will open opening by Naila.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. we are going to present our discussion, which is Trans Studio Bandung as our destination. Sorry, before. First of all, there will be 5 of us, since an additional member here. There is Hanifa Kamila, Bantika Rosafa Pamungkas, Nila Silva Dipa, Nimade, and Wekan Wiswedana. The first page will be presented by
Hello, good morning everyone. Good morning, sir. Trans Studio Bandung is one of the most large amusement park in Bandung. That's why Trans Studio Bandung was really famous and a lot of people want to go there. And Trans Studio Bandung have a lot of extreme rides, even though they are an indoor amusement park. It's family friendly to science. It has several rides for kids and toddlers. Thank you.
And that's it. Okay.
we just Trans Studio Bandung as the destination that's affected by the Yoyo effect. Because Trans Studio Bandung now it's not very busy as it used to be. Since in the end of 2019, it's been very, very crowded because there is New Year effect and New Year event, and that's why Trans Studio Bandung being very, very crowded. And later in March to August 2020, it's being unfortunately closed since there is a COVID-19 pandemic. And in September 2020, they are reopening, but there are not many visitors come to Trans Studio Bandung because everyone might think that when we come there is a lot of virus there. So Trans Studio being not very, very crowded at that time. And in October 2020, it gained a lot of visitors since there is a long-term holiday and CSB create an event buy one get one free for everyone who visits Trans Studio Bandung. Next.
Okay, I'm going to tell you the four aspects that makes Trans Studio Bandung not popular anymore. The first is COVID-19 made Trans Studio Bandung closed for a few months, so everyone can go there, and Trans Studio Bandung is not popular anymore. The second is there is already a mini version of Trans Studio Bandung in almost every city in Trans Studio Mart. For example, next. The third fact is there are no new rides, so visitors who have been there will not come back because it's quite boring. And the fourth aspect is the ticket is too expensive for Trans Studio Bandung. Even though there's a promo, the ride is closed and people can play the rides. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Sir, can I turn off my camera because reconnected, sir?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, sir. The yo-yo effect that occur in Phuket, Thailand, from the point of view of the government and society, was a mistake that start from not being able to hold on the patient, not being able to comply with health protocols, and the government being rushed in implementing regulating that actually result in more severe case than before. Their bad habit like a mass or over-tourism, which had been suppressed as a result of COVID-19, have returned with even more severe consequences from the soaring number of cases and mass tourism that return even worse in an instant. So with the effect in Phuket, Thailand, it makes the situation even worse for the government to handle. Like the regulation they make because they not impatient, so it's not sustainability for them. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, it's still mute. Okay, I'll tell you about what exactly happened in the Phuket, Thailand. So what happened was in Phuket, Thailand, which previously had become mass tourism, the government took this incident as a step to maintain Phuket from mass tourism and also reduce cases of COVID-19. Initially, Thailand was very good at handling COVID-19 cases. It can be said that there were no, then when all the residents have been vaccinated, the government decided to open a Phuket with a target of 200 tourists to travel and spend all the money to boost the tourism economy there. But unbeknownst to the tourists who came to the Phuket greatly exceeded the target, and this resulted in mass tourism is back. The worst thing is that the number of COVID-19 cases has soared to 2,000 case per day, so that the health services are unable to handle it. This only makes profit at the beginning, but creates even more problems at the end, so that these methods cannot be sustainable. The government said that it is also impossible for them to wait for people to finish being vaccinated because it takes a long time to revive tourism and the economic situation of the community, nor is it easy to close again, but because of that, the economy is improving. But the dilemma is, how is the health of our people that the government said, and the four aspects that influence these are the government, which cannot be firm in regulating how to reduce the COVID situation there and how to slowly but sustainably generate tourism, the economic situation that forces them to do that, tourists who cannot control themselves, and there is no prevention and handling the cases exact of this case. Their bad habits, which had been suppressed as a result of COVID-19, have returned with even more severe consequences, from the soaring number of cases and mass tourism that return even worse in an instant. So if I can conclude, the four aspects is from the government, tourism issue, tourist issue, and economy.
Well, thank you so much, Group 5. I really like the way you put your personal thoughts on the especially on the Trans Studio Bandung case, because such choices of words like too expensive but boring, stuff like that, it actually makes your presentation more informal. It means that you understand the assignment, and then you put it in a good way. I have a very intriguing question for you. You kept mentioning the issue of over tourism, right? My question is, within the context of post-pandemic, like what is going to hopefully happen in the near future, do you think the issue of over tourism offers more positive effects or negative effects, and why? Anybody from the group?
I want to.
Yeah, sure. Uday, please.
Okay. For me, mass tourism offers more to the negative side, aside from the positive side, because it actually brought the more people to the destination and it makes the more money. But to the environment itself, it can be broke, and the destination will not be sustainable for the future, like that.
Okay, so let's put it in a case, like for example, the pandemic is over, and then one destination is having an over tourism. What is actually the ideal timing, do you think, for that destination to have an over tourism? Does it have to be like more than a year, less than a year, and why? Why do you think that timing is ideal? Because it's very dilemmatic, right? I mean, in one case, for the tourism industry itself, they need to acquire more money because they have been in a hiatus, like in a long hiatus. So many people were fired, so many destinations were closed, and so on and so forth. And then there is a big opportunity with over tourism to be awakened. But then what you have said before, also there are so many negative effects. So what is the ideal timing and why?
Maybe my members can help me.
Come on, everybody, help her. Hanifa, Naila, Rifan, and Bantika. Just predict. Just make a prediction.
So what sorry, maksud sir itu kapan timingnya buat overtourism setelah dibuka gitu?
Bukan timing, how long do you think is the ideal overtourism? Okay, for example, overtourism is tolerable as long as it is not more than 1 year, for example, after it is reopened. And why? Yeah, Hanifa, Kamila, I think you wanna add something.
I think the overtourism is good as long as for a few months, I think, sir.
Okay.
Because the place is gimana ya bilangnya? Kayaknya kalau udah 6 bulanan mereka udah bisa dapat untung gitu, sir.
Okay.
That's for me, I think.
All right. Well, thank you so much. That is the last question. I don't want to make you feel like tortured. No, I just like the idea of discussion. Thank you so much, group 5. Next, from page 3 of my display, I would like to invite the group of it keeps moving. It keeps moving. Now I would like to invite the group of Gani Hakim.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please prepare the presentation, call your teammates, and start whenever you're ready.
Maulina can share screen. Please wait. Oh.
Sudah. Oh, that's interesting. Work from Bali.
Good morning, everyone. Also, good morning, Mr. Ubad. So, we're going to present our...
Molina, is it possible to turn up the volume because your voice is so low in my audio?
Okay. Sorry. So...
Yeah, it's better now. Yeah, thank you.
So, good morning, everyone, and Mr. Ubad. So, we're here to present our discussion about Yo-Yo effect to tourism section, and I'm going to present for the local case on economic aspect. So, work from Bali is have a goal to keep stability of COVID-19 and economic growth. Work from Bali happened because based on Kementerian Kesehatan, the fastest vaccinated process occurs in Bali. This is also deliberated done by the government in order to gain public trust that Bali is a safe place to visit. And I think that got the point. They got trust by people because there's a lot of people came to Bali to do this program or just vacation. And because looking from the performance of the economy in Bali, it is experiencing a contraction, especially for hotels industry, because we all know since COVID-19, there's no way to do a vacation or fly, or we need to stay home. And that's really a big problem for Bali, because Bali is one of the biggest tourism island, and people can know where is Bali, but they don't know where is Indonesia. And the hotel industry can achieve income by percentage. And regarding to this policy, it was implemented because there were many investment that increased the economic contraction that occurred. Like I said before, when people got trust by this program, they come to Bali, and there is an investor or just influencer, and they go to Bali for do this program, work from Bali, and maybe they can do a thing like investor will invest something and help to increase the problem of the economic in Bali. Because government held this program because Bali has the biggest contribute to Indonesia economic, and they have a big concern when this virus come, because it will give a bad impact to the economy in Indonesia. So that's why the ministry, under coordinating of Kemenko Marves, finally agreed to carry out this program, Work from Bali, because it will hopefully help the tourism even on virus. So that's from economic aspect. It will explain by Septian.
Okay, thank you, Mo. But first of all, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mr. Ubat. I'm really sorry I cannot turn on my camera karena satu dan lain hal. So I will talk about the health aspect from Work from Bali program. Maybe Mo forget she cannot describe what exactly Work from Bali. So we will discuss related to the yo-yo effect with one case Indonesia. Maybe we have heard of the Work from Bali program, where the local government will plan to invite people to work from Bali. Currently, the location chosen work from Bali is the Nusa Dua area. Correct me if I'm wrong, but where the main purpose of this work from Bali is to help the tourism sector on the Bali Island, which has been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, to can bounce back. So at the some point that there will be a surge of the tourists to vacation in Bali. It is simple like that. And I will talk through the health aspect that occur there. So to base my knowledge, in my opinion, the health aspect that is considered by the local government is very safe and good, where the government is able to guarantee the health of the local community, thereby increasing the number of vaccination. And all hotels that are part of this program must behave CHSS certified. The CHSS certified is a standard given by the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy based on cleanliness, health, safety, and environment sustainability for people who manage tourism and the creative economy, which like includes tourist attraction, hotel, restaurant, public toilet, selling souvenir, and I mean in hotel area must be have this certified. And even the local government is able to guarantee that there are already many green zones in Bali, especially in Nusa Dua. So in my opinion, this could be the first good step in the process of generating tourism in Indonesia, and the government really hopes that this work from Bali will not only be carried out in one place. So maybe that's enough from me. The next, Rian will talk about the international issues. Thank you so much.
Okay, so now let's move to international issues. So before I want to explain that I use these tourism sectors as a tools to relate this yo-yo effect to our COVID-19 situation. So as we know, one of the biggest tourism attractions in Europe is football matches. And one of the biggest events in football is Euro, or Euro is a competition, a football competition between European countries. So as we can see from this picture is from the final of Euro 2020, which is held in July this year. So as we can see from this picture is from the final of the Euro. We can see that the stadium is full of supporters without mask. The supporters is not keep their distance. So the effect is next. The COVID-19 cases in England is high. So as we can see from March, the COVID-19 case in England is got down, but on July, after the final of Euro, is getting high again, the COVID-19 case in England. Sorry, can you like enlarge the picture, Maulina?
This picture?
No. Memperbesar.
Oh.
Bisa nggak?
I don't think I can.
Oh, that's all right. So we can move. So as we can see, the COVID-19 case in March in England is got down, but after the final of Euro 2020 on the July, the COVID case is high again. But next.
Wait.
The death case because of COVID-19 is not high in England. Why? As you can see, on July, the COVID case is high, but the death case is so low. So next picture. Why is that happen? Because the vaccination rate in England is high. Can you enlarge the picture? So as you can see, the population fully vaccinated in England is 67%, is highest than WHO standard, which is 50%. So because of that, the death case of England because of COVID-19 is not high. So the government of England can control the yo-yo effect on COVID-19 situation in England because of vaccination rate policy of the government of England. It's different from Indonesia. As you know, on July, the COVID-19 is high, but the death case is also high. But luckily, the vaccination rate in Indonesia is high. So now, luckily, the death case of COVID-19 in our country is not high again. And also the COVID-19 case in Indonesia is not high again. So next we move to Hakim.
Okay, first of all, I'm sorry to cannot turn on my camera because one of another reason. So good morning, my friends and my lecture. Today I will show you the multiplier effects of tourism in selected area of Arusha, Tanzania. So as we know, many interventions have been put up in various conservation areas to ensure the success of conservation while benefiting the communities in and others those areas. One of those interventions is the community-based natural resource management, which was adopted as a win-win solution to the problems caused by the fencing of wildlife areas to stop communities who farm, graze, harvest wild fruits, and herbal medicine from accessing them. Mo, next. Developing countries embark on tourism development mainly because of its socio-economic benefits. This qualitative study was conducted in Longido, Mekuru, Migrasi, and the endowed wildlife management area, all found in Arusa. So as to understand the multiplier effects of tourism in those areas, it was found that the multiplier effects were felt where local communities directly and indirectly benefited from tourism activities. The multiplier effects will be felt more if there was a good pool of skilled human resource and well-established and strong linkage between tourism and other sectors of the economy in the area. Next. So the economy and social effect. For the economy effect, here's the same. When the area built as a tourism, new hotels will set up, and from that new hotel, it will create a job directly into the hotels and also support local business supply. And because there's a new hotel, the workers spend their income in the local area, also make others job and indirectly created. So the area is become more popular because the accommodation in that area is also fulfilled. So the tourists also came to the area, and because of that, taxes spent on improving infrastructure image and tourism services. So for the social effect, the selected study area suggests that tourism creates beneficial opportunities in the private sector, the government, and the local communities which work together. Forms a good starting point for understanding the constellation of tourism into its backward and forward linkage into others' economic activities. For example, unlike in the past where conservation efforts were controlled by the government with no noticeable benefits to communities, community based on conservation programs such as the wildlife management areas strive to incorporate the needs and culture of indigenous communities. So to further expand conservation activities and ensure that those communities affected by conventional conservation benefit directly and indirectly from tourism activities, the wildlife management areas, and the cultural tourism enterprises were established. It was thought and these approaches would make direct and indirect benefits to the communities, enhance entrepreneurial activities, skill development, and tourism to lead to general infrastructure development. It also encouraged growth in the primary and secondary sectors of the industry. And when this happens, it is generally referred to as a multiplier effects of tourism. The multiplier effects open new areas and opportunities within the community. Tourism is a multi-sector industry with many linkage and supply chain to the other sectors of the economy, which benefits to immediate communities and beyond. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Group 6. Guys, first of all, I have to say that I'm impressed with most of you, especially with speakers who show passion, because, passionate speakers are really into what they're actually talking about. It's not always about the intonations. It's not always about the tone of the language, but sometimes it is about the contents that they create. And it is sometimes about the way they arrange the ideas. And I can see that some of you were really passionate about what they're talking about. And I hope that you could actually put that into everything that is important in your life, especially when the context is like public speaking. Either it's a presentation, a job interview, which we're going to talk later next week, maybe, or any other, presentations, both formal and informal, that you are put into the situation. So I really wanted you to put that passion. And also, but I have some corrections on the delivery first, not on the content. Yang pertama, some things in English can actually be translated literally, but some other things cannot. Like, for example, in Indonesian language, it is very common to say untuk satu dan lain hal, but we cannot translate it into for one and another reason, because that's not a common expression there. Just say for a certain reasons, for particular reasons, I cannot open blah blah blah. Or they prefer to having the specific reason. Like, for example, I'm sorry that my camera is off due to some technical glitch, due to some bad signals or connection and stuff like that. It's better to say that. That's number one. Number two, in a formal situation, the words should actually be formal, right? So instead of saying, can you please enlarge the picture? It is better for you. Yeah, that's you. It is for you to say either can you enlarge the picture? I mean, that's the formal way. Or just say, can you zoom in? I mean, there is that word, right? Can you zoom in? But I know that you are so passionate, so that you need the picture to be larger, to be bigger, and you are not the one operating it. So yeah, that's okay. And now in terms of the content, I actually let's talk about the pandemic and tourism in general, especially because these brought to my attention because you brought the work from Bali case. And actually, maybe around last year in 2020, at the end of 2020, I forget, or at the beginning of 2021, I don't really remember. My friends and I actually went to Bali. We spent, I don't know, 4 days there. And I could feel that everything was dying. You know, some of the restaurants and beach clubs were only open on weekends. Even I stayed at 3 different accommodations there. I tried a five-star hotel with a super cheap rate. I tried a private villa with a super duper cheap rate, and also I tried another 5-star hotel. What was really shocking is that at the 5-star hotel at that time, there is only one person in charge of everything. You know, there is a security who was in charge also for reception, for reservation, and for food and beverage. Could you imagine how dying the tourism at that time? So yeah, I'm really happy with the concept of work from Bali, even though it's just to, what is it, stimulate some small parts in Bali to grow back, but that's all right. Everything starts with a small step, right? But my question is, let's take a case of Bali. When the situation is like this, I know it sucks, right? The pandemic and everything. And you are, for example, a policymaker in tourism. The question is to the group, which one would you prioritize? The economy or the health? And why? Because this has been such a big dilemma in this kind of situation, right? Anybody from the group would like to answer? The context doesn't have to be, but it's in general, because what happens in Europe also shows the same, right? When the euphoria was there, and then after that, the COVID-19 case was increasing drastically, even though it was dealt with due to the high vaccination rate, but still it was a consequence, right? So yeah, which one do you think would you prioritize? Which one do you think you would prioritize between health and economy, and why?
I'm trying to answer.
Sure, Mo.
I think we need to concern for the health, because we're so I'm blank. We're Indonesia are so apa sih itu namanya bahasa Inggrisnya, kayak apatis ke
Okay.
Health condition. Like there's still a lot of people who didn't believe this virus is exist, and if we can increase or do the health very stable, or doing the right thing, it will be follow up with the economy. Because when there's when almost all of people in Indonesia got vaccine, I think it will be very good to the economic also. Because right now is going to be better, because there's a lot of people who get vaccine. And I got the information, if now you can have a big event like wedding or concert, like festival, because yeah, we getting better for vaccine process, and that's why health is more important. Because when the health is settled, the economic will be follow up with the
Well, yeah, thank you so much for the answer, Mo. But actually, your answer leads to my follow-up question. Do you think the same strategy is applicable in every country, because as we know that we have developed countries or the so-called negara maju, and we also have developing countries or the so-called negara berkembang. Do you think the same strategy will be effective in both countries, or do any of the group members think so? Please share with me your thoughts.
I think it can be if the people really disciplined with the policy of the whole policy, and if people respect and not trying to win their ego, like, you know, when all the people respect all the policy and think have the priority to be 100% a cure by this virus, maybe it will be work. I don't think if anyone have any
Yeah,
opinion.
please.
I think it can be implemented on developed country also, because Vietnam is developed country, but they success to
You mean
control.
developing country?
Sorry, sir?
Do you mean developing country or developed country?
Developed country, I don't know.
Negara maju.
berkembang apa sih?
Developing.
Oh, developing country.
Okay, go ahead.
Vietnam is developing country, but they success to control the pandemic situation because of lockdown policy, because they prioritize the safety of their people rather than economy. So yeah, of course, when lockdown, you must provide your people's food or something like that. But Indonesia is different case because corruption, of course. So, yeah, I think that's the dilemma. It's not about which the prioritize economic or health. You can prioritize health, but tanpa korupsi gitu loh, gitu.
All right.
Yes, you can success control the COVID-19 case by implemented the lockdown policy, but without corruption. That's the key point, I think, and the vaccination rate. Vaccination.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I know it's very complicated. It's complex. Well, guys, one more group, please, because it's getting more interesting. So, from page 4 of my display, I'd like to call upon siapa ya? Oh, it's moving now. I'd like to call. It's moving again. Fifi Alawiyah, have you presented? Fifi Alawiyah Sadili Putri. Hello, Fifi. Are you there? Fifi. Okay, maybe she's got problem with the connection, or I don't know what's happening. So I'd like to call upon, still from what is it? Page 4 of my display. I'd like to call upon Putra Al-Ghifari. Have you presented? Putra?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah, you haven't presented, right?
What, sir?
You haven't presented, right? Your groups? Yeah, please introduce the members of your group and then present the results of the discussion. regarding the yo-yo effect on tourism? So it's group 7.
Sir, my group is not ready, sir.
Why?
I'm so sorry. Because kekurangan anggota juga, sir.
So why didn't you solve the problem earlier? I mean, you have so much time, right? From last 2 weeks, but why haven't you made an effort to show the best? I mean, every group has the same opportunity. So I think you're not taking the assignment seriously, and I'm really disappointed in your group. So yeah, let me just call another group. I hope the next group is going to be ready. From page 4 of my display, I'd like to call Sylvia Marcella Sapitri. Oh, I have 5 pages now. Sylvia?
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Sure.
Sir,
Yes, Fran?
while waiting for Sylvia, can I ask questions, sir?
Sure. Yeah, please hit it.
Okay. Sir, the word discuss about that you say earlier cannot be used in formal situation, right? So can it be used in informal situation, or is it a mistake in sentence structure?
Like could you be more specific?
You said discuss about in Shelma group before.
Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. Yeah, discuss about will be actually understandable in an informal situation, but it will be odd. It will sound odd. Like for example, in Indonesia we have the prefix and suffix imbuhan, and then for example we know some prefix and suffix are fixed. For example, melupakan, and then there is a bule say melupai. We will understand, right? We will understand the word melupai, but it sounds odd. That's what happens when you don't put the verb pattern, the right verb pattern, like discuss about. They will understand that, but they will we don't use it in our daily use. They will understand it either informal or in informal, but yeah, in a formal situation is wrong. Not only is it odd, but it's incorrect. It's grammatically incorrect. But in informal situation, there is no correct and incorrect, but it's odd.
I see. Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the question, Fran. So, Sylvia, whenever you're ready, please start the presentation.
Okay, good morning, sir. This presentation will open by me.
Okay.
Good morning. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Mr. Rubat. So now, my group that consists of me, Restina Fauzia, and Aulia Jasmine, Altia Anggraini, and Sylvia, we're gonna explain the yo-yo effect in locally and globally. For the locally first, we choose Puncak Cisarua Bogor. As we know, Puncak Cisarua is often reported to experience bad traffic jams. It's because the large number of tourists who visit, even though in PPKM time. So what the aspect that first, the economic aspect is because the needs to fulfill the life necessities of during the PPKM level 4. To reduce the crowd of tourists, the government set rules for tourist attraction to temporarily close. Because of that, of course, they got not income at all. And finally, when PPKM levels down,
They are desperate to reopen tourist attraction, even though they are still not allowed. As a result, the number of tourists who come to Cisarua has soared again.
Oh.
And the second aspect is psychology aspect. It's desire for self-realization, recreation, and refreshing. As a result of this pandemic, all people's movement have become very limited, including traveling. Therefore, many people want a new atmosphere because they have been sitting at home for too long and experiencing stress with all the circumstances that are happening. And therefore, they are definitely in dire need of relaxation, recreation, and refreshment. And they think that Cisarua is the right place.
Okay, the third aspect is political aspect. As we know, due to COVID-19 pandemic, the government has closed the tourism sector to prevent the spread of the virus, and the government has also set the PPKM level. And after the decrease in positive cases of COVID-19, the government lowered the PPKM level and reopened the tourism sector. And this causes people feel a little safer to going out, and they excited to travel again. Next. And the last aspect is a social aspect, feeling of boredom and feeling of wanting to socialize. As we know, life during this pandemic is based on the internet, studying from work, school, and shopping, and people begin to feel bored and tired of the situation. When the PPKM level is lowered, people who feel they are safe enough with this situation, and they are tired of all these online-based activities, they start doing recreation, which causes the destination to become crowded. And then the impact of that occurs from the crowd is the increase in cases of COVID-19.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to discuss about how yo-yo effect in China after the pandemic. China has reported a total of 94 infections since the novel coronavirus emerged in the central city of Wuhan in late 2019. Tiger social restriction in China to combat the latest COVID-19 outbreak, now its fourth week and involving more than a dozen cities, have hit the service sector, especially travel and hospitality, in the world's second largest economy. Next. Reuters reported that China has refrained from carrying out full lockdown in major cities as seen in the early days of the COVID-19 outbreak in Hubei province. This intent so the economy is not completely paralyzed. However, recently circulating photos showing thousands of people get at the Great Wall of China. Visitors flock to the tourist site with few wearing masks on holiday, marking International Labor Day in China. The photos taken show how thousands of tourists are jostling in the, and there is no social distancing, as if the COVID-19 pandemic didn't happen. Finally, the latest spike in COVID-19 cases rolled in after an infection among airport cleaners in Nanjing City sparked a chain of coronavirus infection across the country. And for the political effect, whereas the Chinese government continues to change its policies regarding the opening of or closing its tourism as well in making decisions about sudden lockdowns that disrupt the country's economy.
Okay, when viewed from the social side, why do so many tourists go on vacation right away when the government relaxed policy because tourists felt bored in the lockdown, staying at home, causes over tourism in several tourism destinations, one of which in the China, which worry about the emergence of the new cluster again, because tourists do not keep the distance Then other social factor, namely a lot of job loss and the lack of destination place due to the close of tourist destination. Like local people who sail around the destination, they felt the loss of work because of the loss of vacation due to the close of the destination. Because of the loss of work, this make the surrounding community feel more and more worried about their need and the declining welfare of the community. Then they worry about the increasing condition of COVID. Then from the other social side, because there is a lockdown with crowds of the learn activity with very learn activity with were very felt. Okay, thank you.
Oh, so that is the end of the presentation. Well, thank you so much, Group 7. What really attracted my attention is the issue of traffic jam, especially one happening one happening in Cisarua, Puncak Bogor, right? Because we know that whenever a tourism destination is famous, traffic jam there happens, right? So what do you think should a government and an industry do to reduce at least the traffic jam in any other tourism destinations?
Okay, sir, I will try to answer.
I think you're still muted. Okay.
What government do is I choose the example from Cisarua. Government has implementation the ganjil genap, sir. So
okay.
It will reduce the transport yang melintas di jalan tersebut, sir. Itu.
Okay, but don't you think the policy will also decrease the number of visitors to the tourism destination, because not everybody has an odd and even plate of the car, right?
Boleh pakai bahasa Indonesia.
Yeah, you can mix it actually.
Memang nggak semua mengendarai kendaraan pribadi, tapi most of who come to tourism destination is banyaknya tuh kendaraan pribadi gitu, sir. Jadi I think if we implementation the ganjil genap, it will reduce the traffic.
Okay. Well, yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for such great explanations and discussion. Next, we still have a little time. Kita sedikit diskusi dulu mengenai, walaupun ini nanti di minggu depan berarti diskusi lebih mendalamnya mengenai application letter that you have made, either handwritten or typed. Nah, saya akan coba dengan cara saya pilih secara random. Saya buka dulu ya link Google Drive-nya. Saya pilih dulu secara random satu tugas, satu yang sudah disubmit. Kita sama-sama kaji. Setelah itu, what do you think of that? Kita sama-sama diskusi menurut kalian itu gimana. Wait a minute. Baru nanti di minggu depan kita akan bahas selengkap-lengkapnya mengenai application form and job interview. Oke, saya udah dapat. Ini saya pilih secara random aja ya, guys. Alright. Sudah muncul? Is it showing? Okay. We're starting with the Indonesian version of the application letter. Di sini formatnya di headingnya ada surat lamaran kerja, lalu ada dates and also address to whom it is addressed. Cimahi 21 September kepada yang terhormat manajer personalia Hotel Ponti Setiabudi Bandung. Dengan hormat, sesuai dengan informasi lowongan kerja yang tertera pada situs Hotel Ponti sendiri, saya bermaksud untuk mengajukan diri untuk menempati posisi kerja sebagai salah satu staf HRD. Dalam surat ini telah saya lampirkan CV sebagai bahan pertimbangan dan ada juga data diri sebagai berikut. Di sini dicantumkan ada nama, tempat tanggal lahir, umur, pendidikan akhir, alamat, telepon, dan email. Lalu saya mengajukan surat lamaran ini dengan harapan untuk memanfaatkan pengetahuan saya di bidang pariwisata serta kemampuan sosial yang saya miliki. Selain itu juga saya merupakan pekerja keras, jujur, dan loyal. Meskipun saya belum memiliki pengalaman kerja, saya memiliki tekad teguh dan integritas untuk menjalankan pekerjaan yang ada. Besar harapan saya untuk Hotel Ponti menerima dan memberikan saya kesempatan sebagai langkah pertama dalam dunia kerja. Demikian surat lamaran kerja saya. Mohon pertimbangannya bagi Ibu dan Bapak. Terima kasih atas waktu dan perhatiannya. Hormat saya, Farel Ersa. Well, sebelum saya nanya ke orang lain, Farel, are you here?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, so Farel, what do you think of the letter that you have made in terms of content and in terms of the language?
I think it is a little more personal than the other letters that I have searched on the internet. So,
okay,
like
tell me why.
Letter said, it is like the letter said, it is my first time thinking about applying for a job and writing a letter like this. So yeah, it is a little bit more personal and not too formal.
Do you think being personal in an application form like this means a good thing or a bad one, or it doesn't really affect that much?
In my opinion, I think it is not. It doesn't affect that much, because if you write the letter informal, it will look like just the other. It will look like like the other letters that other people send. So yeah, I'm trying to be different with this one. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, next one. What do you think of the language, the wording that you use here?
I didn't really give notice to the writing, to be honest.
Why? Because Indonesian language is... Okay.
Because in my experience, there is strictly from me personally, Indonesian letter can be limited in terms of the language and the use of the language itself.
So are you saying that...
personal experience.
Yeah, are you saying that it is more difficult for you to express yourself in Indonesian rather than in English?
Yes, because there are more adjectives that I know in English rather than in Indonesian.
Should I be happy or sad to hear that?
I don't really know, sir.
Well, yeah, thank you so much, Farel. Now, everybody, let's see the English version, the English and handwritten version of the application form. Wow, warna-warni sekali ini kertasnya. Oh, dari Neutron. Job application letter, it's the same. Dear, the headings, the head of the letters, dear sir, ma'am. Ini tuh ma'am atau mom?
Ma'am, sir.
Okay, ma'am is actually double A. M-A apostrophe A and M. So you can actually say ma'am or madam, but ma'am is actually M-A apostrophe A-M, but that's all right. I recently became aware of the open position in the Human Resources Department in your hotel from reading it in the hotel's website. Thereby, I would like to apply for that position and have attached my CV along with this letter. As for my experience, to put it simply, I have, what is it, Farel?
None.
Oh, I have none. In fact, this is the first time I'm writing a job application letter. With that in mind, what I can offer you is hard work, honesty, and loyalty. Besides that, I'm also a fast learner, friendly, and can quickly adapt to new situations which can prove useful in the tourism industry, especially on Human Resources Department. That being said, I hope you would give me a chance to work and to prove myself. Working in one of the most prestigious hotels in Sydney will be a challenge that I'm sure I'm equipped to handle and ready to tackle. I'm looking forward to hear from you soon and will be available from an interview at your earliest convenience. I thank you for your time and attention. Sincerely yours. Well, first of all, Farel, I can say that yes, it is proven that your English is actually better than your Indonesian language, because it's more structured here, your English version, but still some of the expressions are literal translations. Pertanyaan saya sebenarnya gini sih, ini untuk semuanya, untuk men-trigger diskusi minggu depan aja sebetulnya. Kenapa sih beberapa company atau beberapa industri itu masih mengharuskan kita di era digital ini untuk menulis surat lamaran kerja tulisan tangan? Why do you think? Or kalian pernah baca apa segala macam yang kalian ketahui itu apa? Itu aja dulu yang jadi bahan diskusi hari ini. Why do you think the company, the industry still requires us to handwrite or application letter or application form? Anybody?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, sure, Selma.
Can
please.
I try?
Sure.
I actually don't know much about this, but this is just a guess. I just want to guess. But
Okay.
I've heard about how sometimes people try to understand other people from their writings, like from the structure of how they write, how they maybe position those writings on a blank paper, like on a blank paper, how people manage to write and the structures and everything. So it has something to do. I don't know if this is correct or not. This is just yeah, I'm just trying to guess, but maybe it has something to do with psychology. Yeah, that's just my guess. Thank you.
Where did you? Oh no. First, where did you hear it
Okay.
from? And second, do you think it's scientific to actually reflect somebody's personality from their handwriting, for example?
I've seen. Well, this is not about handwriting actually, but in high school, I used to have an art teacher who asked us to scribble like make random writings on blank paper, and
Okay.
he just said like try to do whatever you want on the paper, and he was like I can. Maybe what he meant to say was that he could guess what we are as a person based on that, but I personally don't know about that yet because I haven't really done that much research or like I haven't read much about it yet. So yeah, I don't know if I have an opinion on that, but yeah.
You haven't decided yet. Well, thank you so much, Shalma. Any other opinions, guys, regarding the handwritten application form in this era, which is in which everything is digital, right?
Can I answer?
Sure, Fran.
Maybe I think it shows the seriousness of the applicant, sir.
Oh, tell me why. Elaborate, please.
So the applicant must be write the application by herself. I don't know how to elaborate that, sir. But I just think if you write the letter by yourself, it show the seriousness of your.
So how do you think someone's seriousness is related to? How do you think someone's handwriting is related to their seriousness, their commitment into one kind of profession they're applying?
Maybe by writing by yourself, it show the effort for you to apply the job you want and at the position, sir. I don't know, sir. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean,
Yeah.
Opinions are the start of everything, you know. In research, we call it hypothesis, and hypothesis is the source of a theory of everything. My next question is that, jadi lupa tadi saya mau nanya apa. Terlalu excited. Oh, I forget. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, friend. I'll ask you later once I remember.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Any other opinions, guys, regarding this issue?
Sir, I want to try.
Yeah, sure.
According to Gufran, maybe we should writing the letter because if we do it digital, we can copy paste and then change like our identity or something like that. But if we should to write it, so we are willing to do the showing our effort to do it
Relax,
to
relax.
do it simpler. So like that maybe.
Okay. It needs more efforts, right?
Yeah.
To handwrite your application form rather than typing it, in which you can copy and paste. Yeah, nice point, Uday. One last point, one last opinion.
Me, sir.
Yeah, sure. Angga from
Uh,
Sumedang, right?
Yes. I've been taking some those tests like in the high school, like in counselor teacher, they she give us some tests for us, and she trying to predict what a characteristic that we've had, like we are a hard worker or we are like she predict us by the type of fonts that we've been writing on the paper, like that, sir.
And do you think the
So,
prediction was accurate?
I don't know, but she said she can predict what type of or characteristic by those type of phones, and but she didn't tell us what the result of the test.
Oh, okay,
Like that,
all
sir.
right. So it's a mystery. Well, thank you so much Angga, guys. Saya saking semangatnya sampai lupa belum ngabsennya. Saya absen dulu dari kelas A. Aditya Ahmad Al-Ghifari.
Yes, sir.
Alright, next. Agil Aditya Putra.
Hadir, sir.
Aisyah Tarefa.
Present, sir.
Alivio Fatih Rahman. Amira Husna Konita.
Present.
Angga Kahairul.
Present, sir.
Anissa Fauzani.
Present, sir.
Aulia Jasmine Maharani.
Present, sir.
Seni Pratama Putri.
Present, sir.
Davana Pramadya.
Jenny, sir.
Present, sir. Oh ya, Chenny Pratama Putri, sorry. Davana Pramadya.
Present.
Diva Azwisda Amaniska Fairuz.
Present, sir.
Ernawati.
Present, sir.
Fadli Fuadi, sorry. Fakhra Nur Sabila.
Present, sir.
Farel Ersa.
Present, sir.
Fazar Mukhtar Pratama.
Present, sir.
Vivit Sulisnawati.
Present, sir.
Vika Nur Ashifa.
Present, sir.
Hanifa Kamila.
Present, sir.
Indah Rahmaulia. Oh, yeah, she went to the dentist. She told me. Irma Septiana Putri.
Present, sir.
Haupilah Wulandari.
Present, sir.
Latifa Kuntum Khaira.
Present, sir.
Luciana Akilah Utami.
Present, sir.
Muhammad Rizky Ramadan.
Present, sir.
Muhammad Dafa Dia Ulhaq Ramadan Rustendi.
Hadir.
Muhammad Rafi Andiza.
Present, sir.
Muhammad Riki Rainaldi.
Present, sir.
Nadifa Aulia Karimbi.
Present, sir.
Naila Syahwalia Yolandifa.
Present, sir.
Nathaniela Gracia.
Present, sir.
Nimade Ari Susanti.
Present, sir.
Olpia Anggraini Hakku.
Present, sir.
Konita Sofiatul Karima. Rafli Ahmad. Raf Sanjani.
Yes, sir. Hadir.
Resti Nur Fauzia.
Present, sir.
Rido Kurniawan. Rifan Yuswildan Juanda.
Hadir.
Salsabila Diandra Zahra.
Present, sir.
Sherly Ardian Multi.
Present, sir.
Silvia Marcella Sapitri.
Present, sir.
Syahna Gustari.
Present, sir.
Tiara Khairun Nisa.
Present, sir.
Farel Angelo.
Present, sir.
Oh, you're coming. Okay. Virgio Amor de Anarchi.
Present, sir.
Oke, Vitariani.
Present, sir.
Wahyu Andri Pratama.
Present, sir.
Zafira Wanda Afifah.
Present, sir.
Okay, now class B. Audita Salsabila.
Present, sir.
Almira Dia.
Present, sir.
Maulina Rizkia.
Yes, sir.
Yasmin Sabila,
Yes, sir.
Septian Bambang,
Yes, sir.
Restu Intan Melati,
Yes, sir.
Siti Sarah, Jamilatul Fuadah,
Present, sir.
Safina Vivian Braviani,
Present, sir.
Saragih Clara Anastasia Ivani,
Present, sir.
Rizka Romadoni,
Present, sir.
Selma Feraniza,
Present, sir.
Zahra Renindya Mardia Utama, Putra Algifari,
Present, sir.
Fran,
Present, sir.
Mita Pramesti,
Present, sir.
Sidki Najmi Atalah,
Present, sir.
Nida Farihah,
Present.
Devina Fani Setiawan,
Present, sir.
Gozi Nabil Fakhri,
Present, sir.
Muhammad Raishaldi, Kegar,
Present, sir.
Algania Putri,
Present, sir.
Tubagus Herdi Ramdhani, Jonathan Darmaya Raharjo, Damar Maya, I'm sorry.
Present, sir.
Amanda Faradiba,
Present, sir.
Gani Hakim Haikal Putra,
Present, sir.
Nisa Maulida Rahmah,
Present, sir.
Mia Nugraha,
Present, sir.
Muhammad Idam Adina Pribadi,
Yes, sir.
Sheila Restiana,
Present, sir.
Rizky Sukatma Putra,
Present, sir.
Ismail Rahdiansyah,
Present.
Elma Juliana Napitupulu,
Present, sir.
Amreza Pahlevi,
Present, sir.
Agit Dwi Saputra,
Present, sir.
Noni Sakinah Agustin,
Present, sir.
Rian Bastian Hutapea,
Present, sir.
Vivi Alawiyah Sadili Putri,
Present, sir.
Anissa Alda Ababil,
Present, sir.
Firda Nur Afifah, Oke, Dita Yuryanti Pratiwi,
Present, sir.
Blantika Urusova Pamungkas,
Present, sir.
Nadia Rahmaniar Alismaya,
Present, sir.
Imelda Ferawati,
Present, sir.
Felda Awina Firdausi,
Present, sir.
Josafat Raja,
Present, sir.
and Radit Hibatullah.
Yes, sir.
Ada yang kelewat atau
Halo,
belum
sir.
terpanggil?
Halo, sir.
Yes.
Zahra present tadi.
Oh, Zahra from
Masih
which class? I'm sorry. A, right?
B. B.
Oh, B. Zahra, wait a minute. Oh ya, Zahra Renindya. Oke, ada lagi?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Sir.
Yes.
Konita from class A is present.
Okay, Konita from class A is present. And let me check. Okay, Konita. Yes. Who else?
I'm Alivio.
I'm sorry? Oh,
I'm
Alivio.
attend this. Yes.
Alivio, okay. Who else? That's it? Okay. Well, everybody, I think this is the end of our class for today. Untuk next week begini. Yang pertama nggak ada tugas homework, tidak ada. Tapi yang kedua begini, karena minggu depan kita akan membahas, we're going to have an in-depth exploration of application form and job interview. Jadi yang pertama, untuk minggu depan silahkan cari sinyal yang bagus karena selama perkuliahan kalian harus on kameranya dan menggunakan baju grooming ya, seragam. Let's just imagine that you are going to have your own job interview. Itu yang pertama. Jadi selama perkuliahan untuk di minggu depan, kalau minggu ini dan minggu-minggu lain yang materinya begitu, it's okay for you not to turn on the camera, tapi untuk minggu depan diusahakan kalian cari sinyal terbaik dan device terbaik juga. Yang kedua, tolong kalian baca-baca, cari referensi supaya nanti diskusinya lebih hidup tentang verbal and non-verbal communication. Karena komunikasi verbal dan komunikasi nonverbal itu merupakan aspek yang luar biasa penting dalam konteks pariwisata, termasuk dalam job interview dan application form. Hari ini tidak ada slide yang saya bagi, tapi untuk minggu depan nanti ada ya. Dan tolong di-keep dan dipelajari dan dipahami, because those probably are going to be some contents for your exam, either the final exam or maybe the midterm exam. So make sure that you have a comprehensive understanding in addition to what you are presenting as the result of your discussion, the group discussion. Ya, jadi sekali lagi minggu depan silahkan grooming, kameranya on, because we're going to have a simulation of job interview after we discuss your application letters. And then number 2, please have a read. Please find as many references, as much knowledge as possible related to verbal and non-verbal communication, especially within the context of job application form or letter and job interview in English or in general. So before I close the session, do you have any questions or do you have anything to discuss? Okay.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, Ricky, please.
To ask about my group issues. Tadi kan setelah ada yang presentasi, kelompok saya sama, sir, ininya apa isunya tentang work from Bali. Apakah itu boleh sama atau gimana, sir?
Boleh sama, tapi kan nanti pembahasannya pasti berbeda ya.
Oke.
Aspek-aspek yang dibahas, it's okay, it's alright, my pleasure. Aspek yang dibahasnya bisa jadi sama, bisa jadi beda, tapi the way you explain the aspects are going to be different, I believe. Jadi so it's okay, that's alright. You don't have to change it into any other case. Yeah, Ricky.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, my pleasure. Any other questions, guys? Okay, if there's no more question, thank you so much for today. I wish you once again good health and safety, and see you next week on the same day at the same time, inshallah. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. Bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have a nice day.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, sir.